Hey, it's me, ABSD. Welcome to the Inner Dialogue podcast. We are here striving for growth and not perfection. And I feel really grounded in that concept right now. I feel really grounded in general in my life right now. I have begun adding meditation into my life in a way that I had not been using meditation before. And I had been having nudges for the last 3 or 4 months telling me to meditate and how important that was for my own daily practice. And I had just actively been ignoring it because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to integrate meditation into my life. And now that I have, it's really amazing of how grounded it has made me feel in my own practice. I just started with looking up YouTube 5-minute meditation videos, short meditations, and I now have been doing 10-minute meditations through the Calm app. But I've just been using their YouTube channel because it's available and there's so much content they have out, and it's been really, really awesome for me to have those as a resource in my life. This past week, I was at Adams Camp as a therapist for the Daisy group, which our campers were 6 to 8 years old, and we had 5 of them. At therapy camp, you are at a 1-to-1 ratio, and we had one volunteer. So there were 6 adults to 5 kids, and holy moly, we needed every single adult. And there were moments where it almost felt like we needed more adults. This past week at therapy camp it was a really awesome experience. After adventure camp, I was a little nervous and hesitant because adventure camp took so much out of me. I stretched myself in ways that I haven't had to in years. And working in a camp environment where you are staying overnight with your campers is one thing. And then working in a camp environment where your campers also have disabilities adds a whole nother layer to that camp experience that I have never experienced before. Working at Adams Camp, working with campers with disabilities was really eye-opening for me this summer. My campers this summer stretched from the age of 6 all the way up to the age of 42. And so I had a super wide range of ages and disabilities that I worked with. And every moment during those experiences, I had a lot of joy. And I also had a lot of exhaustion. And it made me realize more than anything that I don't know if I truly get joy the way that I used to out of working with kids in that level. I used to work with kids every day of my life, and I stepped away from that when I left teaching last year. Wow, that was a year ago. I left teaching last June when school got out, and I have babysat and nannied and worked with kids in that way, and it is essentially a one-to-one. I babysit one kid at a time, and that's what I prefer. And even that is not something that I really love anymore. I'm realizing that I'd rather work with kids and campers in a different way than being the one that's in it the way that I was in it as a volunteer and as a therapist the last couple of weeks with adventure camp and therapy camp with Adams Camp. I would love to stay involved with Adams Camp. The mission and what they do is really, really incredible. And being able to see it from 2 different experiences, from 2 different lenses, was really spectacular. And I plan to go to the executive director and have a conversation with them about things that I saw that I feel need some love and attention. Since I've worked inside of a nonprofit, I feel I have a different kind of lens than a lot of people who volunteer or counselor or be a therapist within that organization. And being able to experience two of their summer camps that they put on, I feel I have a lot of valuable feedback to give, and I'm excited to be able to give that feedback. This past week at therapy camp was so cool because the group of women that was part of my team, each and every single one of them was so unique and had so much to give. It was really, really spectacular. And another cool piece was that we all ranged in age and we're all in such different areas and places in our lives that I felt we could all bring a different perspective to the table, unlike my experience at adventure camp. And it was really exceptional. It was really exceptional. And I look forward to spending more time with those women outside of that camp experience and being able to stay in touch in an intentional way, because each of them was so spectacular. And it was cool getting to connect with them on a human level, but also on a mindset level, because unlike most of them, my job is not within special education or within any sort of specialized therapy like theirs is. I don't do this all the time. This is not my job, not my work. My work is inside of mindset. I work for a mindset expert. That's my job and what I do and surround myself with all the time. And so being able to talk to them about that, some of which are using their own mindset practices, some of which asked for resources, some of which didn't know what I did and asked me how I am the way that I am. And I am grounded and confident in who I am and how I show up in the spaces that I'm in, and not just helping myself, but also helping other people feel their feelings. And the campers that we got to work with this past week, it's really, really exceptional work. And it excites me. It excites me that I am showing up in space differently. And it excites me that strangers who meet me are curious about the way that I think and want to learn more and want to integrate some of these practices into their own lives. The huge thing about mindset and the huge thing that I teach and preach is that we have to learn how to be uniquely ourselves. And mindset practices help us do that. We have to find our own authenticity. I never want to make someone be me. That's never my goal. I would never ask anybody of that. What I am asking, if you are interested in it, is how to be you. And if some of those things align with how I am me, then awesome. But I don't want you to be me. I want you to be you. I want you to only be you. And I want you to show up in this world authentically and uniquely you, because that's who you're meant to be. That's who we're all just meant to be. We're all just meant to be ourselves. And I feel that when we are selfish first, we can be selfless second. But we have to be selfish first. We have to learn how to love and trust ourselves first before we can give to others, before we can help others. And I am so grounded in myself right now in a way that I have never, ever been in my life, ever. And it feels amazing. It feels amazing to be grounded in myself. It feels amazing to be living in a place where I am confident of who I am and confident in my thoughts and confident in the way that I show up in this world. And each and every day I am growing in that. Each and every day I am finding out more about me and trying new things and going out of my comfort zone so that I can grow in my trust, grow in the safety that I have for myself. It's really a remarkable journey. And I want other people to understand that you too can do this for yourself. You too can find your unique self and what you have to offer to this world. Your authenticity is important, but it does take work and it does take hard work. And as I was giving resources to one of my other teammates this week, is a wonderful woman. She's in her 50s and She has been through so much in her life to be where she is now. And she feels that she's in a place where she wants to grow and go into different directions and do a lot of this self-help work, but doesn't know where to start and kind of was lost in that. And it is such a wide internet that we have, and not knowing where to start, you could fall into some places that might not be the best place to start. There's so many wonderful free resources out there, and I'm so available to sharing those. And there's also a lot of wonderful paid resources out there. But I always recommend starting with the free and finding what feels good first. Everybody's own mindset journey is going to be different. It's meant to be, because we're all authentically us. But where I started in mindset might not be where you start. And so finding what feels good for free resources, finding where you should start in your own journey is going to help you learn how to then figure out if you want to pay for resources, and if you want to do some of these paid mastermind courses or buy books and dig deeper, which, if you are anything like me or anybody else that I have seen get into mindset in a deep way, then yes, you will end up buying things because it will feel good. It will feel good to search more information. It'll feel good to learn more. It will feel good to find what grounds you. And truthfully, I've been doing mindset practices in my life for a year now, and I am just beginning to feel grounded. And I feel that's more normal than we let it on to be, right? Just like all babies, we all learn at our own pace. We all move at our own pace. And for me, it took me until a couple weeks ago to start meditating. And so maybe I would have started walking earlier in my mindset journey if I would have integrated that earlier, or used affirmations in a more intentional way. Journaling, I've always been very consistent about, and that's always been a really awesome practice in my life, especially through the mindset lens, especially in this past year. But we all do things at our own pace, and we're meant to. Like, it's not a competition. We're all meant to be on our own path, on our own journey, and it's all leading to beautiful blossoms in our garden. And I love that analogy. I love the analogy that you have to weed your garden before you can plant the seeds, before those seeds can be watered, before those seeds can grow, and before they can blossom. And my seeds are blossoming. And as my seeds are blossoming, I'm also still weed eating my garden and planting more seeds. And as those blossoms continue, more blossoms will join them. And it's all part of building a beautiful garden, building a life that you want, and creating choices and making decisions to lead towards that life that you want. But I want you all to know that it is available to you. It is available. It is not some secret that I am holding on to. It is not some secret that anybody who practices mindset is holding on to. In my own mindset practice, it is something that I love and enjoy giving resources to other people so that they can start their own mindset practices. I sat with this woman in her 50s and for an hour talked her through resources and gave her links and found places for her to start, and recommendations on things to listen to, and free resources that she could tap into, and resources that she could level up into to pay for. And just giving her those resources, you could see a weight lifted off of that. She now had a jumping off point, a place to start. And I think that's so often the hard thing, is not knowing where to start. And so we don't start because we have the fear that we're going to start wrongly. And truly, if you need help starting, ask me. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to help guide you. I'm happy to hold your hand through some of this process, because while I cannot do the work for you, I can help you find where the work needs to be done, and find how to help you, like, guide you to the right places. This is work that nobody can do for you. This is work that you have to make a choice to do for yourself in your own life. And let me tell you, it is hard work. And as you start to do it, you realize that it takes time. It's not changing a thought one time and then the rest of your life is easy and butterflies and beautiful. And let me tell you, even through this mindset practices, even through the practices in my life, I struggle and I have doubt and I have fears, and it is scary. And I continue to root back in love. I continue to root back in my faith. I continue to root back in the fact that it's okay that I don't know how it's going to happen, because God and the universe are making it happen behind the scenes, and they're moving things to come into my life. They're moving things to make my dreams and desires possible for me. It's not my responsibility to know how. It's not. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for co-creation. And I'm so grateful for Brandon Foster and him teaching me all of these beautiful pieces. And while everything I learned has not come from one place, I am so grateful for the coaching and the experience that I have had inside of his programs to help me grow, and the coaching that I continue to get, the coaching that I continue to have access to. Because since I've started to work for him, I have grown in leaps and bounds, because this is the industry that I was always meant to be inside of. Was always meant to be inside of the mindset industry. Ever since I was a kid, I felt I was supposed to help people, and other people saw that in me too, and they always recommended things that didn't feel good: teaching, nursing, hospitality, and none of that ever felt good to me. And lo and behold, I tried most of it, and it's just not something that my heart is into. But being able to be in and work inside of mindset, and to be able to grow in my own mindset, and also watch other people grow in their own journey, it also reminds me that it's all so unique, that we're all on such different paths because we're meant to be. None of us are meant to be on the same path. All of us are meant to be on their own, because again, we're all just meant to live our own authentically unique selves and lives. The first thing I recommend to anybody is to start with learning how to love yourself, start with learning how to build self-trust. Because once you learn how to love yourself, once you learn how to trust yourself, once you learn how once you learn how to look at yourself in the mirror, you have to learn how to look at yourself in the mirror. 70% of women can't look at themselves in the mirror. Once you learn how to look at yourself in the mirror with clothes on, then learn how to look at yourself in the mirror without clothes on. And learn to love this body that you inhibit. Learn to love this bodysuit that your soul lives inside. Learn to love all of you. Something that helped me inside of this process was doing childlike faith things that I enjoyed doing as a kid. Climbing trees, painting rocks, doing handstands and cartwheels, sitting outside. Whatever that looks like for you, being able to incorporate that some of that stuff into your life again, so that you can learn what brings you joy and what joy feels like. I had to relearn that. It's all part of the beautiful journey. It's all part of the beautiful path. It's all part of living your life and learning how to live your life through love and joy. And a piece of that is being honest with yourself, being honest about where you're at, being honest and getting clarity about where you're at so that you can grow from it. If you're lying to yourself about where you're at, you can't change it because you're lying about it. You have to be honest about where you're at. You have to. It starts there. It starts with self-love. It starts with self-acceptance. It starts with being able to be honest about who you authentically are. And for me, that was a lot of things, including my queerness, including coming out to the people that I love and having those hard conversations and learning that I am incredibly loved no matter how I identify, even if it's a hard thing to accept and learn about. But for me to be authentically me, I have to be honest. And I wasn't being honest about my queerness because I had just learned about it recently. And as I was learning about how it felt inside of my body, I needed to learn how to identify it and what felt good before I could let other people know. But once I did that, it gave me space to just be. It gave me space to be grounded. It gave me space to find what felt good in a way that I had never awarded myself before. The more honest we can be with ourselves, the more that we can grow. And when we grow, new opportunities come up. I have a friend on Instagram that I follow that posted recently about how they're leaving their corporate job in January, and they are leaning into trusting the universe and trusting the opportunities that the universe is going to provide, and trusting that this journey that they are on is the answer. And I am so proud of them. That is not an easy step to take, but when the universe is telling you to do something, life is going to continue to close doors until you listen. And I've seen this with many people through stories and also through watching their experiences. And it's a really beautiful thing when you can watch someone listen and when you can watch someone take that scary step, because it is in that fear, it is in that scary out of comfort place that we grow the most, that the most opportunities can present themselves to us. As I feel more grounded in myself, I know that newness is coming. And y'all, we close on our house in 8 days. We close on our house in 8 days. We are moving in less than 2 weeks. And after coming back from therapy camp and back from staying in a cabin in the Rocky Mountains for a week and having just quiet and serenity inside of that space, and walking back into my apartment with the TV on, the dryer running, and kids screaming outside, I felt immediately overwhelmed in my safe space, my home. And it reminded me how grateful I am that we are so close to moving. We are so close to being out of this shithole. We are so close to not everything in our living space being mediocre. But I know that we lived here for a reason. I know that learning to experience what it is like to live in an apartment like this in a unsafe area of town with people who live their lives differently than I've ever seen is important for my growth, is important for me moving forward, is important for me to understand more people and humans in a way that I wouldn't have understood if I didn't live here. And for that, I am grateful. But holy motherfucking shit, I am excited to be moving out of this apartment and to never come back. Like, we are moving on Saturday, the 19th, and I plan to pack everything up, pack the U-Haul, and we are leaving, dropping our keys, and not coming back. We're going to make one trip because there's no way in hell that I want to come back here ever. I'm just so done. I'm so done. And I keep leaning on the fact that we have 2 weeks left, less than 2 weeks now. And that is what is helping me get through, because being patient around moving has opened patience in a way that I thought I had that I didn't have. And it has forced me to learn new things about myself and how I handle uncertainty in ways that has made me uncomfortable. And through that uncomfortability, I have grown. Through that uncomfortability, Nick and I, my partner, have grown. And I'm grateful for that. It's beautiful and also has sucked, but I'm grateful for that. Not every moment of our lives is going to be full of rainbows and butterflies, but it's how we handle the moments that aren't. It's how we handle that disappointment, that uncertainty, and what we decide to do and how we decide to communicate through it that matters. And every single day inside of my life, I'm learning how to communicate. And every single day inside of my marriage, we're learning how to communicate. Because I don't know how you're feeling unless you tell me how you're feeling. You don't know how I'm feeling unless I tell you how I'm feeling. And the way that my mind thinks is different than yours. And so you don't understand my thought process if I don't tell you. And so it's important for me to vocalize that, and it's important for me to tell you. And that's something that I'm working on, something that I'm challenging myself with to grow inside of and to exercise that muscle. Because once that muscle has been exercised and I've grown it, then it then becomes part of my daily activity. It then becomes a muscle that feels natural to use. But in the process of growing it, I have to remind myself daily to grow it, to vocalize, to communicate. This has been such a beautiful episode, and I'm so grateful for it. Grateful and grounded are my two words right now. And I have so much gratitude in my life, and I am so grounded in my life that have such a strong foundation to grow off of. And growing into our house in Longmont is going to be so beautiful. And I know that the abundance that is coming into my life is going to help us update that house in ways that we love and in ways that are beautiful. And I'm just really, really grateful. And I'm grateful for all of you for being on this journey with me and for trusting that I am going to do the right thing for the greatest amount of people, the greatest good for the greatest amount of people, that the abundance that is coming into my life is here to impact not just me, my family, the people that I know intimately, but also to begin the help and the work that my campaign is going to be run off of, that we are going to bring into the White House with us. That work is beginning now. That work is starting to shift and help people now. And it is going to be so beautiful in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 7 years, as we are working our way into the White House, of what we are growing into and how we are going to help people along the way. And I'm really grateful to be able to share that with all of you in this space. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for challenging yourself and growing and for learning more. I love you all so much. Remember to take up space. Remember to love loudly. And remember, you are meant to be you. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And the world needs your unique gifts. So as you find them for yourself, offer them to the ones you love and to the service of your community around you. I love you so much. Today is Monday, August 7th. It's 4:15 p.m. And this is the Inner Dialogue Podcast. Bye.